So I guess this is going to take the form of more like a ramble or like um journal, but like I just want to talk about my attachment style growing up and how that affected my view of God. And I just want to put this out here just in case others can relate, because I don't really feel like there is much out there um, talking about the relationship between these two. And so for me, I grew up with a dismissive, avoidant attachment style. And for people who are not familiar with attachment styles at all, there are four types. There is secure, there's anxious, there is avoidant, also known as dismissive avoidant, and then there is disorganized, which is also known as fearful avoidant, or did I say anxious avoidant? It's disorganized, anxious avoidant, fearful avoidant. So it's got like three different names for it. But I guess going into those a little bit, secure is of course somebody who is secure, who knows how to attach and allow others to be attached to them in a healthy way. Avoidance, avoid attachment, avoid intimacy. Anxious are those who appear more clingy in relationships and they go after attachment, like I guess you can say overly attached. And fearful avoidance are those who want to attach but they are afraid to, so they have both anxious and avoidant traits. So for me, yeah, like I said, I had a dismissive avoidant attachment style, but I was just thinking like how my attachment style makes me feel hindered, at least in my relationship with God. And in one area, I think it really affects my ability to trust. And I see this not just with God, but with like people as well. And I think about like first I want to say, like, in my childhood I had an abusive parent, and I'm certain that's where my struggle to trust comes from. And so I saw both, I guess you could say, realities in one person. This parent was both abusive but also would be affectionate at some times. And from a child's mindset, I guess it's like you don't really know what to trust then if somebody is both. Like, I remember as a kid, like, wishing that this parent would just be one or the other, because being both, coming across as both like abusive and affectionate, is confusing, of course. And so it's like I don't really know what to expect from this person, what version of them to expect. And so I have seen how growing up I struggle to trust, I guess, like, even God in this way, because it's like I'm so used to that double face reality in a person. So it's like I know you to be one way, but it's like I struggle to trust that there is no other side. Other side to you, I guess. Like, how can I trust you completely and know that you are all this one trustworthy way? But of course, you know, the Bible says that God is light. There is no darkness in him at all. So it's like I know all the right things, but based off my childhood experience, it's still hard to like trust. And I mean, even with some people, like, I struggle to trust. So that's one area. And another area is like, well, like before I started filming this video, I was just talking to God about like how I've heard stories of people who say how they hear God so clearly, and they hear God talk to them in like an audible voice. And I feel like I don't have stories like that. I have one experience back when I was like in middle school where I felt like God spoke to me this one day. Like it came in the form of a thought, but it was like I don't even have 100% certainty in that. Like I just felt that it was God. But I've heard stories of people who like they seem to hear God so clearly, like an audible voice, or even if it comes in the form of a thought, at least they have that certainty, that trust. And it's like, I feel like because of my attachment style, I can't, like, that's something I struggle with. It's like hearing God, I guess, in the way that some people hear him. Um, Another thing is like just feeling like there's this disconnect. And so I feel like some people, at least they seem to have really close relationships with God, and it's like because of my attachment style, I do feel kind of hindered in that way, that it's like I do feel like there's a disconnect there, and I feel like I'm not experiencing him and him in the way that I could, like to the fullest. Like I feel like I'm not experiencing the level of relationship that I could be due to my attachment style. And another thing, like I've heard stories of people who like receive prophetic words, and they say that like randomly this person comes up to them and gives them a prophetic word from God. Like this random person comes up to them and prophesies to them about something. Part of me is like, oh, that's really cool. Like I would love to have that happen too. Like I would love if somebody came up to me and gave me a word from God. Like that sounds really interesting. But then there's another part to me on the flip side, and I'm like, actually don't do that, because it's like I don't know if I would trust if this person is sent from God and if they are giving me a word from God. So it's like that like there's two sides to it. It's like there's that struggle of trust there between like I don't know what's true, I don't know what's not true, I don't know what's like from God and what's not from God. But yeah, it's like, or it's like, oh, I want to hear God too audibly. But then part of me is like, actually, wait a minute, that kind of creeps me out a little bit. So there's that, or it's like, would I actually trust that that's God's voice that I'm hearing? Whereas I feel like secure people, or people who have more healthy attachment styles, I don't know. So if you are secure and you do feel like you hear from God, perhaps you can write about it. You write about your experience in the comments. But I feel like secure people, from my perspective, it sounds like when they hear from God, there's this absolute certainty that they know this voice is from God and they have that trust. But for me, it's like, part of me is like, oh, I would really want to hear God's voice audibly too. But then the other part of me is like, what I actually trust that that's God's voice. How will I know for certainty, for sure? Like, how can I trust that? And then there's that avoidant part of me that's like, yeah, like would that actually kind of creep me out a little bit? And I thought it was something else I was trying to say. Or like if I hear God's voice and he's commanding me to do something, would I feel this resistance to obey and do what he's telling me to do? Because another thing I experienced as a child was this parent was also very demanding and controlling, and told me what to do a lot as a kid. And so I think that caused me to grow up in a way where sometimes I struggle with like being told what to do, because it's like that feeling of being like controlled and bossed around again. So it's like, well, if I hear God's voice and he commands me to do something, would I feel rebellious, or would I feel like I want to obey him? So it's like, maybe I shouldn't hear his voice. But I feel like this is probably something like more secure people don't struggle with. I don't know. But it's like part of me kind of feels like I don't really know how to have like a like how to really even have like that parent child relationship with God, because I feel like I didn't have that growing up. So it's like, how do I be a child that wants to obey out of love? Like, part of me kind of feels like I need experience to like learn how to do that with God. I don't know, but yeah, I just wanted to share this just in case other people can relate to like having an insecure attachment style and how that affects your relationship with God. And so if this helps somebody, then that's what I hope it does. Like, what's something else? Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a disconnect in like in some way, but I feel like I don't know how to, I guess, overcome that disconnect, or like how to experience that level of closeness that I could with God. Though I do feel like in this season, God is leading me in that direction though. But yeah, if you can relate, you are of course free to share your comments below, and it'd be really cool to read them. Thanks for watching.